joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, former Pirate QB, host of the Holton Ahlers Show, son of the fill-in guest on the U.S. Sailor fifth quarter call-in show. Holton Ahlers is here. What's up, Holton?
Clip, what's up, man?
It was cool to have more again for the U.S. Sailor fifth quarter call-in show after the Military Bowl, fielding some calls. And we had a fun night because we had a lot of fun, drunk Pirate fans that were excited after a win over NC State.
I think including me and Caden.
That might include you two guys. It looks like you guys had a lot of fun and emotional. Caden Norman in Annapolis.
Yeah, it was a good time. We really had a good time, and then obviously we kind of vlogged our trip and posted on the whole Ahlers show on X, and it was a good time though. I mean, we're look, now that we're not playing, it's like that was our first game really traveling to since we've played. And bowl game too, it was a great time.
Yeah, it looked cool. I saw some of your former teammates there, right?
Yeah,
so got to hang out with them, Pirate fans, and enjoy a hell of a ball game too. How about
awesome.
that?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It made me go back a little bit on my bowl games don't matter comments because that game mattered.
It mattered.
And,
it mattered to one team at least,
and the outcome mattered.
Yeah,
I think.
Absolutely, 100%. And then look, it just builds up game one next year when we play State next year. So I'm pumped about it.
It certainly adds some pressure to Dave Dorn and Stateside.
It does.
I think going into the opener
their
next
fans
year.
are not happy with it. I think he is a perfect coach if they want to win 8 to 9 games and then randomly fall to 6 games one year, but then stay around that 8 to 9 win game. So they just got to decide if that's what they want to do or if they want to go get someone else good to try to push the envelope.
And that kind of sounds like a negative when you bring it up that way, but winning 8 to 9 games,
it's great.
Like could they go out and get somebody to maybe take them to a playoff? Sure, but they could also make an awful hire, fall for 3 or 4 years and have to reset the whole thing. So there's a lot of pro and college teams that are looking like the Mike Tomlin thing we talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Like, are they cool with being in the playoffs every year if you don't make a run in the playoffs? As a Washington fan, I think I'd sign up for that. But as a Chiefs fan, you poo-poo that. So it kind of depends. It's perspective, right?
100%. That's a great analogy too. Is like literally Mike Tomlin with them. I mean, I think State fans like Grace, my fiance, her family's all State fans, all went to State and stuff, and like they like Dave Dorn, but like when they talk about him, it's not like they love him.
Yeah.
Like it's just like he's a good coach, like he's done a good job, but it's not like. He won't be loved there for years and years and years unless the next coach following just sucks. And then they're wow, we actually had something good with him.
And while I'm doing analogies, let's stick with State. Kevin Keats may not be long for the job there. I don't know, but takes him to a Final Four. It's almost like, would you rather have a pop-in run to a Final Four or a playoff once every 20 years or consistency where you're a game or two away from maybe making it, and that's a tough call.
It is 100%. That's why the athletic directors get paid the big bucks.
That is true. Holton Ahlers joining us as we kind of tie a bow on football. Holton, it's like, all right, we got momentum going into the offseason, which is true, but all these new faces too. You're going to see an entirely new. I told Jarrett, like, we need a new Pirate Radio intern. I want to look at the rosters from the Military Bowl to week 1 and see how different they are.
Yeah, I mean, like the fan base has momentum, the program has momentum, but do the players themselves have momentum? The ones who are here, Caden Hauser has momentum. He's going to go confident into the game. The coaches have momentum, the ones that are here. But, like, there's going to be a lot of new faces, but get used to it. It ain't changing anytime soon.
We might have the same starting quarterbacks for the game, which would be cool, I guess.
That'd be nice,
At least we're on path for that. Talked to John David Baker earlier this week on Pirate Radio Live and kind of talked about his transformation, which he was consistent, I think, during his interviews throughout the season, but we started to see more social media posts.
Yeah.
He started to buy in more to the Pirate thing, it felt like, and I asked him about that, and he said, look, winning is fun. Like, you want to have fun, and he got more confident, I think. The players did as well, and we saw him get a little looser, I think, the second half of the season.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you saw him find his way a little bit, and, like, when I was breaking down the film earlier in the year, like, you could tell. And even I mentioned, like, you could tell that he was using some of the Lane Kiffin stuff, but they weren't going full out yet. And then it seemed like midway through the year, about, 25% through the year, he started to slowly develop his own kind of personality with the play calls, and then he really got into his bag later in the year.
No doubt. And it led to some really fun football and attractive football. We've talked about that this week where, we're going to lose some guys, Chase Sowell, but John David Baker said, you see the yards we put up, had 1,000-yard running back.
Yeah.
Like you saw that the players are going to want to come play in this offense and be a
100%.
part of this team.
And yeah, I was talking to one of the coaches yesterday on the defensive side of the ball, and they were saying they were looking for a certain position, and with NIL, sometimes it's hard to like compete with some of these schools. And we pretty much were just like, yeah, but you keep winning, you keep having a fun defense and a fun offense. Like, guys are going to want to come here because they're still going to get paid. They might not get paid $250,000 like some of these schools, but they'll get paid, and you'll have at least have the chance to put up numbers to go play in the NFL where the real money is.
Holton, you're out of the program as far as not being a player, but still in it. You know a lot of folks in it. Have you met any of the new coaches at all? We had Josh Aldridge on the other day, new strength coach here. Like, have you?
No, I haven't really. I try to like kind of stay away like physically from the program. Like I talk to the people that I know over there. But yeah, I haven't. I'm sure I will, soon. But yeah, I haven't met many of them yet.
Let's talk playoffs. Ohio State looks like a machine since their loss to Michigan, and they are the team to beat right now. They got Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame coming up on Thursday night. I have to keep reminding myself we've got a playoff game to watch tomorrow night. That's fun.
Can't wait.
But let's break down the two games. What do you think about the Penn State Notre Dame matchup?
I think that's those two teams that I kind of not trashed all year, but I just thought it's the same old, same old. I think Penn State will win, but it wouldn't. I think Notre Dame may have the edge. I just think Penn State's quarterback's really, really, really good.
I like Notre Dame, but the Riley Leonard versus Allard matchup, and I like Leonard because he is a dog, as people say, and can run the ball, but can he throw if he needs to?
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, one of these schools are going to make him say you're not running. And, like, he can throw, but he's, like, 50-50. Whereas, like, one of these schools are going to say, I'm going to take away half of your game. I'm going to make you only throw it. And then, like, it's not that he can't throw it. It's like, is that offense built for him to throw it? Yeah. That's the question that I have to ask. I do think the coaching matchup, I think Marcus Freeman with Notre Dame has the edge. I think he's the perfect guy for Notre Dame to take them from winning 10 games a year and then losing one game and not, losing the big games. I think he's the guy to win the big games.
They're a good mix of, like, physical tough, but also can throw a trick play on you. Like, that Northern Illinois loss is still, like, head-scratching how it happened. With the way they played, the Huskies played the rest of the year, and what Notre Dame has done since then. And then you got Texas, Ohio State, which going into it, these are a couple of your favorites to win, but in the games we've seen so far, Ohio State has almost put themselves above everybody. Do you think they beat Texas?
I think so. It wouldn't surprise. Like, my brother's a huge Texas fan, and like Texas fans do not like Quinn Ewers, which is wild. But I think Ohio State has literally put together a machine. Like, if Will Howard just goes and plays the offense, which he's done great, and that's what's going to make him an NFL draft pick probably, is literally just getting the ball to the guys that are supposed to get the ball. He has Chip Kelly calling the plays. Like, that they've spent so much money with the coaching staff and with the players to build a machine to go win the college football playoff, where, like, I'd be shocked if they don't.
There was that receiver, Jeremiah
Smith is insane.
Could be. I've heard like people that follow would say he'd be the #1 pick. I don't know how true that is. We haven't seen has a wide receiver been picked first since Keyshawn in the 90s?
I don't think so. People thought Marvin Harrison had a chance.
And Harrison didn't have a great rookie year with Arizona.
He didn't. And then crazy enough, so that Jeremiah Smith is Geno Smith's cousin or nephew. And when I was with Seattle, Jeremiah was still a senior. I think I've told this story.
Me about that, yeah.
And Geno was like, my nephew is a 5-star, and he could be playing in the NFL right now. And we're like, dude, you're crazy.
And you did the whole, my nephew, sure, whatever, dude.
And I'm like, wow, I didn't know your nephew was the best receiver on the planet. I didn't realize that.
So, yeah, he is the real deal. Looking forward to the playoffs coming up Thursday, Friday, which leads us into NFL playoffs.
Yeah,
Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Well, let's break down those matchups. Let's go QBs with Holton Ahlers. So we'll go Texans, Chargers first. Sophomore slump for Stroud, or how do you explain?
Still took them to the playoffs, though. He still changed their culture a lot, but.
And then Herbert on the other side.
I like Justin Herbert a lot. I like Jim Harbaugh a lot. I'm kind of pulling for them, but I like C.J. Stroud too. But I think Jim Harbaugh and Jalen Johnson's a practice squad receiver for the Chargers, so pulling for him to get to the Super Bowl, maybe get a ring.
And then you've got Lamar and Russ. I'll take Lamar in that matchup. Even like seeing his numbers yesterday, we were going through we were looking at who had the most interceptions thrown this year and all that, and seeing Lamar 41-4, I think was touchdown.
Absurd.
Like that's crazy, and it's like. Yeah, let's give Josh Allen the MVP. You can't give it to Lamar every year, but I mean, 41-4.
Yeah, yeah, that's insane. I'm happy for Russ. I think it's cool that he got them to the playoffs after not doing great at all with the Broncos. That's another story with the Broncos making it. But the Ravens are I think they're too good right now to beat in the playoffs, especially that early on.
Early game Sunday, you've got Jarrett's favorite quarterback, Bo Nix, taking on Josh Allen, who this is like Josh Allen's time here. Like, we know what he can do. He's phenomenal. He runs the ball better than 98% of the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But can they get through the playoffs? And I think they can take care of this one on Sunday. But how about the long-term prospect for the Bills here?
Yeah, you would see something funny is if the Bills lose. See their fan base, I think it'd be
Now,
hilarious.
are you bringing that up because you think it's a possibility?
I think it is a possibility.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Broncos are just peaking at the right time. They're the team that no one expected to do anything this year, and I've been high on Bo Nix since he came out. I thought he played a lot of years of college football. We have the same quarterback trainer. I've trained with him a couple times. I knew he could spin it. And yeah, I just think like the Broncos literally have nothing to lose. Now the Bills probably go in there and roll them, but going in there with nothing to lose in the playoffs and a young team of just being like, you know what, this is our first time playing in the playoffs. Like, let's just go out there and hit him in the mouth and see what happens. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it was a close game.
Every year there's a team that we say it was Seattle. 2 years whenever Geno had his big. I didn't write back year or whatever, where we said they're going to be the worst team in the league or whatever. And Denver is that team this year.
Yep.
Like they were not looked at as a strong team going into the year. Sunday night. Oh, sorry, I skipped a game. Let's go Sunday afternoon. This one's a weird one because we don't know the full like health details of Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts. So
yeah, I like the Packers in this one. Crazy enough, I like the Packers.
I like them all year long, but I'm kind of down on them right now. Maybe they rise up, but I do like Philly in this game.
Packers do have a lot of injuries outside of that. Like I think Christian Watson towards ACL. So yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a fun one. I think football's better when Green Bay's better, especially in the NFL. Kind of same with the Eagles, though. I mean, Eagles fans are cool too, but Eagles have been good for a couple years now. I just like to see the Packers go in there and win.
We'll talk more lines next week, but saw David Montgomery could return for round 2.
Yeah.
What are they saying about Aiden Hutchinson? You heard anything, Jarrett? Yes. So there's a chance. What if they get him back for the Super Bowl? But they've got a lot of guys banged up. They are waiting to see who they'll play in round 2. Sunday night, my Commanders, Jaden Daniels in the playoffs, and Baker Mayfield. The reclamation project continues. Dave Canales got a head coaching job. Jarrett thinks the coordinator from the Bucs currently, what's his name? Liam Cohen could maybe get a job. But Baker is either making them look good or he's making them look good. But the Bucs are a good team. I think it's a winnable game for my Commanders. How do you feel about it?
I think so too. I think I would lean towards the Commanders, honestly. The only thing that you wouldn't is Baker. I mean, does have the experience, and those guys all are experienced together. I mean, a couple of them have won a Super Bowl, so I wouldn't be surprised if Jaden Daniels makes a run at it. I mean, it seems like that type of year where he's made the big plays when he's had to, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if they make a run.
I'm excited about it. Not that Mike Evans is an old, decrepit man, but it seems like an ageless wonder now, continuing to get it done. And that McMillan dude is a little bit scary, too, that receiver they have now. And Bucky had a great – so they've got an offense. I think we can score on them a little bit, but should be a fun one Sunday night. And then we go to Monday – where you've got the old veteran Matthew Stafford taking on Sam Darnold, who had a fantastic – if he was in a 17-week season like we used to play, he'd be an MVP candidate. Instead, we saw what happened week 18, and now everybody's like, uh-oh, is this the real Sam Darnold? So how about the Vikings coming off that loss last week, Holton going into L.A.?
Yeah, that's a weird because you don't know what Sam Darnold you're getting. I think the Vikings are really hard to beat, but I do know the Rams have a little bit of magic. Like, how are the Rams? I mean, they have good players and stuff like that, but like every year you go into, you're like, are the Rams going to be terrible or like amazing this year? And they just continue to win and win and win. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make a little run as well. But I mean, we'll see. I'm pulling for Sam Darnold. I like Sam Darnold. I like that offense a lot. Both of those offenses are kind of very similar, quarterback friendly, so we'll see.
J-Bone has that as his game of the week. What's your favorite matchup this week, Holton, if you had to pick one?
I like yours, Commanders.
Commanders
and Bucks. I like it a lot.
Should be entertaining.
It's like, I think those are the two teams that like whoever wins that game like could make a little run.
A little dangerous?
Playoffs. Yeah.
All right, I'll take that. Let's do Holton Ahlers NBA minute, which could be a New York Knicks minute.
Yes,
but what should we be following in the NBA right now? I'm a little out of it.
Knicks.
Yeah. How are they doing?
They're 24-12 right now. They're on a 3-game losing streak, sadly. But the trade deadline's coming up, so we're going to make some trades, close the team around because we're getting tired and a little banged up right now.
As a bit of an outsider that follows it a little bit, is it still kind of Celtics and everybody else, or who are the contenders?
It's the Cavs and everyone. Cavs
That's
are
right,
31-4. So, yeah, I mean, the top two in the East, obviously the Cavs and the Celtics. The Knicks are like 2 games behind the Celtics. They got 1 game behind and then, went on a 3-game losing streak. But I think by the end of the season, the Cavs gotta fall off. Some they're not the Warriors of a couple.
They're not
years
a
ago.
70-win team, are they?
We keep saying that, but they just haven't fallen yet. But we'll see. I like where the Knicks are. As long as they finish top 4 in the East, I think we're fine. But other than that, yeah, man.
Have you dove into any college hoops yet, or you?
I have not. I'm staying away. I watch NBA a lot. I love NBA. So.
Gotcha. All right. Holton Ahlers joining us. Steve Shankweiler on the pod, and had Shank on our best of. Had a lot of Holton Ahlers on our best of last week, as you had a lot of great interviews. But I enjoyed talking to Shank. This was maybe before the last season started, but a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information, and a great guy to talk to.
He's great. It was a really good interview, and he's one that a lot of people have actually asked for. We tweeted out, and a bunch of people responded to that.
I was going to suggest him when I saw that question, and then I think the next day you popped up, Steve Shankweiler will join us this week. I was like, that's weird. But.
He serves a big role for, like, he's like alumni relations now for football, which is, huge, especially as an alumni now. Me and Caden both are. And then, he coached me. He was offensive line coach when I was there for 4 years. And then, he was coaching back in 1986 for ECU. So, he has a ton of connections, tons of stories. He was a really, really good interview.
His last year coaching, I remember asking him on media day, how the hell do you connect with kids these days? Yeah. And he said that just like it was in the 70s, 80s, good players still want to be coached hard. He finds those guys. Yeah. And I was like, wow, okay. So he finds that, and then I'm sure their music tastes are different and everything else, but you got to find that one connection if you can find it.
Like, Noah Henderson's one of my really, really close friends, and obviously, Shank coached him, and like Noah loves him to death, and like they're totally opposite people. So,
Holton, are you going to talk to any? Like, everybody has NFL aspirations, but would you give some of these players advice that are leaving ECU now to, hey, maybe try the UFL, try something else? Like, if they ask you about it, what do you say to them?
Yeah, for sure. I've already talked to, honestly, a good amount of the senior class, just I'm friends with them.
Yeah.
And then, we've had them on the podcast and stuff too, and just talked to them off air. But, I think just pursue the NFL thing, but the UFL is like a very, very good avenue. You see Garrett McGinn, he's like his 6th or 7th year in the UFL now. At least I think. I'm not trying to crap on Garrett, but I think he's been there. He's a veteran in that league, and he's bounced between the NFL and not. It's a great career to have, which is kind of where I'm, leaning towards now. So it's a great league if you want to keep playing football and make some good money, and probably not as stressful as the NFL either.
I'll read this on the air. I used Garrett McGinn's chat for a best of segment, and I did for Zay as well. So I just said, what's up to those guys? I was like, hey, I used your segment on the best of. Maybe think about you. Hope you're doing well. Garrett said, Clip, what up, dog? How we doing, man? I'm great, bro. Hope you have a happy new year. Bring that juicy ass to a UFL game. And I said, that's an invitation I can't turn down. So
that is hilarious.
He is the same old Garrett McGinn.
Same old
after
Garrett.
All these years.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff, man. We'll check out Steve Shankweiler on the Holton Ahlers show, and can't wait for another year, man. Y'all killed it last year.
Appreciate it.
Really grew it, and looking forward to what you got this year.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun, and Caden's trying to convince me to change to the Caden Norman show, so he's he's pushing it. But it's been great. The way we've grown is probably more than we've ever thought, but it's continuing to grow, and hopefully people enjoy it.
Caden knows ball, no doubt about that. Thanks, Holt.
Yep.